Today's movie is a special request from Patreon supporter Martin Shalozi, who asked that I review something with ninjas in it. He wasn't really specific, he just wanted ninjas. Well, have I got a movie for you, Martin? It's a Filipino film called Raw Force, and not only does it have ninjas, it's got cannibals, zombies, and enough gratuitous nudity for a Cinemax marathon. I just got through 8 movies of kid-friendly giant turtles, so I am itching for some good old exploitation. Let's do this. Raw Force, also known as Kung Fu Cannibals, is a 1982 martial arts movie that kind of exists in an exploitation movie gray area. Popular enough to get a Blu-ray release, but obscure enough that most of you probably haven't heard of it. Just look at this poster. A shirtless guy in purple Hulk pants doing a drop kick, chicks in bikinis locked in a cage, some guy who looks like Dr. Manhattan with a samurai sword. It's like this movie was made for this show. Alright, I've already wasted enough time with the backstory, so let's get started. An American panorama presentation. Made in the Philippines. I see this opening is setting the tone for the movie since it looks like a hidden camera sex trafficking video. Oh well, at least Vietnam Dan Aykroyd seems happy. The girls are being taken to a remote island in the Pacific so that they can be sold to some monks. And something tells me these monks didn't take their vow of chastity. Jesus, I think that guy's laugh alone could trigger an Amber Alert. I gotta hand it to this guy. He may be a sex trader, but he is a snappy dresser.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Spear.
Okay, the obvious joke is to say this guy looks like Hitler, but a real student of history would know that he actually looks a lot more like Heinrich Himmler. Nazis had 2 things in common: racial hatred and shitty taste in mustaches.
Cooper, will you please have the ladies undress?
Sure, man.
That's half the reason anyone's watching this movie, man. Oh, and just so you know who to blame for this, it's Edward Murphy. Even though these ladies seem to be worth their weight in painted styrofoam, Filipino Peter Lorre here seems to have a problem with one of them.
What's wrong with her?
I don't know, it's an exploitation movie and she's still got her bra on?
Oh, skinny. Take the jade and leave.
Hey, how about me?
Sorry, honey. There's no room on the airplane.
Bullshit, Buster. I didn't have to come here.
Hey!
Wow, who would have thought the Nazi sex trafficker would be such a dick? And the penalty for being too skinny on this island? First you get laughed at, then you get murdered by zombie Larry Bird. Okay, that was pretty weird, but you know what's even weirder? Apparently this place has a travel brochure.
Discovered by Captain James Cook in 1779, Warriors Island is supposed to be the burial ground of disgraced martial artists.
So that's where Steven Seagal's gonna be buried.
Inhabited by a bizarre sect of monks widely believed throughout the Orient to raise the dead warriors from their graves, to repel attacks or threats by outsiders.
You know a really effective way to prevent outsiders from coming to your island? Not making a travel brochure! So I guess these are our heroes. Who are they again?
Are you the boys from the Burbank Karate Club?
In the flesh.
Yeah, looks more like the Leisure Suit Larry Club to me. They're about to go on a cruise, and the captain is played by character actor Cameron Mitchell, known for movies like Supersonic Man, Frankenstein Island, and Space Mutiny. He also had a respectable career in westerns, but screw that, I'm naming his B-movies.
I mean, look at it. Crappy maintenance, inept crew.
Hey, don't make fun of the people making the movie, that's what I'm here for. So what's the entertainment on this cruise like?
Progress on the forward promenade. You can join.
Somebody might get hurt.
Well, the martial arts show may not be great, but it beats having to look at this guy's nut hugger. And does every character in this movie have a terrible mustache?
This is my husband, Lloyd.
How you doing?
When we get together, the way to get by is pull out the booze and let's get high.
That's also the motto of anyone watching this movie. And probably the people who made it, too. Sweet Jesus, this movie has more bad perms and mustaches than a NAMBLA meeting. Anyway, I guess it's time to go ashore. Looks like they picked a place with some great shopping.
Sure you don't want to see kickboxing with us, Mike?
No thanks, John. I'm going shopping with Ann, Lloyd, and Hazel.
Then we're gonna catch a live sex show.
Lloyd?
Just kidding.
No, you weren't.
Dodds,
When we
I'm going shopping.
Yeah.
Outside of deodorant, is there anything else you need?
Serious talk with his agent? We get our first real fight of the movie, but enough of that, we've got shopping to do.
Aren't you bushed?
No, not particularly.
Yes, you are. Why don't Mike and I grab a cab back to the ship and soak our corns in Epsom salts? That way, Petch, you'll have a dance partner tonight.
Well, okay, but can you stop delivering your lines like you're a 1950s sitcom, Dad? And I think Lloyd is up to something.
900.5 General Nathan Street.
What's that?
It's a cat house.
Oh yeah, this looks like a reputable establishment. I'll bet even the donkeys in this place are underage. And don't bother with the breath freshener. All the girls at this place are gonna taste like a combination of cigarettes and despair. Yeah, Lloyd would be the kind of guy who only has sex through the slit in his boxers. Oh well, at least the place has a bar.
Our ship sails in the morning.
Where to?
A place called Warriors Island. Have you ever heard of it?
Okay, if Warriors Island is such a secret, why does it have a travel brochure? Where are they gonna go to next? The mysterious, legendary island of Puerto Rico? The sex traders show up disguised as cops, and this guy's such a hardcore Nazi, even his suits have to be Aryan.
Anybody here going to Warriors Island?
I am. Have you heard of it?
Let me give you some good advice. I would avoid Warriors Island like the Black Plague.
Hey, come on, man. If these guys wanted to avoid diseases, do you think they'd be in this place? Uh-oh. Looks like it's a fake raid by obviously not real cops. Best get out of there, fellas. Now that they've safely escaped the brothel, it's time for more nudity.
I just can't see you in a whorehouse in the middle of the afternoon, Mike. It isn't like you.
Yeah, I always thought of you as more of an early morning John. Please tell me this movie's done with the characters doing sleazy sex stuff.
I gotta see a man about a horse.
Ugh, sorry I asked. Okay, actually he's just going to the bathroom. The sex traders are coincidentally at the same bar and try to rob him, so of course a fight breaks out. Judging by the groups involved, it looks like it's mustaches versus mullets. This is what happens when Jimmy Buffett fans do too much coke before a show, and when they decide to beat up Jim Croce. The sex traders try to get away, but our heroes aren't done with them yet. Yeah, did you see that? Motherfucker just drop-kicked a vehicle. Let's see Chuck Norris do that shit. Oh. Okay, I stand corrected.
Alright.
You know, I thought he was a fag till I fell his knife.
And I thought you were an okay guy until you said that. Spear does not look pleased.
They're heading straight for a source of jade. We have to stop those fools.
Here's an idea. If you don't want people coming there, maybe you should pick a secret island that doesn't have a travel brochure. While the ship makes its way to Warriors Island, the next 15 minutes of the movie are dedicated to people mingling on the cruise.
Ever see so many weirdos?
Yeah, everybody has a molestache and dresses like they're 17 even though they're 40. Anyone else to talk to on this boat?
Could I have another sweet vermouth on the rocks?
Sure, coming right up.
You know, it's rare that someone can look like they play Dungeons & Dragons and could also be a character in Dungeons & Dragons. And please, let's hear some more about these characters' sex lives.
My ex-boyfriend couldn't make love to me till I did a striptease first.
What do you call that?
Fetishes. He was into fetishes.
Ah, the things people considered fetishes before the internet. Well, at least someone on this boat is getting lucky.
You definitely have to relax. Okay.
Careful, pal. That's Camille Keaton from I Spit on Your Grave. You do not want to get on her bad side. Oh, and if you're wondering what her role in this is, that's it. She's just some topless chick in the bathroom and then we never see her again. I don't know, I guess she just really wanted to have the credit girl in toilet on her resume. Jesus, they're still mingling? Alright, I guess I'll keep riffing then.
He's gorgeous, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
I guess, in that school shooter kind of way.
We were looking around the room and decided you are the handsomest man here.
Okay, I would make fun of that, but considering what the other guys on this boat look like... yeah, he might be. Looks like this party's getting a little out of control. Anything else going on?
If they did any of those things, they were outcasts of society.
Fun fact, the director of this movie said the target audience was 17-year-old boys. Can you tell? And I'm wondering what this guy's gonna do with that glove.
I hope you're for real.
Me? I'm flat out crazy about you, Eileen.
By the way, your name is Eileen, right? While this is going on, Exploitation Steve Gutenberg here keeps hitting on Lloyd's wife, but I think Lloyd's doing enough cheating for the both of them.
What if your wife shows up?
I'm telling you, baby, she won't. We're only gonna be 5 minutes. come on.
5 minutes?
Okay, fine, 2 minutes. Jeez, and I thought jerking off in a theater was the sleaziest thing Fred Willard ever did. Okay, as riveting as the porn version of The Love Boat is, can we get back to the whole Kung Fu Cannibals thing? The thugs from earlier sneak aboard the boat, and there's a great way to remain inconspicuous. Wear the brightest colors possible. Not that these guys care about being sneaky. This is like if the Village People did a stage play of The Warriors. Well, looks like it's Mini Mall afternoon karate teacher to the rescue. Oh, and the one actor who actually knows martial arts. Normally I'd say these thugs look like rejects from a Double Dragon game, but I've already done that a bunch of times, so instead I'll say Streets of Rage. And will somebody take care of Nazi Cheech Marin here?
Get your filthy hands off me, asshole.
Yeah, nobody creeps on girls except for the passengers. Here's a good way to take down your opponent. If martial arts don't work, just give him a swirly. Cameron Mitchell may not be contributing much to this fight, but he is the only one who realizes a gun would come in handy. Unfortunately, he's too late to stop this guy. Holy shit, he set the film on fire! The thugs get away with one of the girls, and the crew is forced to abandon ship. After all, where there's smoke, there's optical effects. Yep, that boat sure is on fire there. Just like how I'm now on fire. Don't you totally believe that I'm on fire? Looks like the bad guys got lots of jade for the girl they captured from the boat. Sure hope it was worth several of them getting killed.
You know, there's one thing I can't understand. If the monks like sex so much, why don't they go directly to a whorehouse and buy it themselves?
Here's a better question. If the monks like sex, then why are they monks?
They're not buying the girls for sex.
Then why are they buying them?
For food. They claim that female flesh gives them the power to raise the dead.
When they say female flesh helps them raise the dead, they actually mean it helps them get erections. People were desperate in the days before Viagra. After being lost at sea for a while, our heroes eventually wind up on Warriors Island. What are the odds?
Where are we?
Well, I would say this is Warriors Island.
I recognize it from the brochure. In another shocking twist, the women aren't the ones with their shirts open in this scene. But I think Lloyd's starting to be a problem.
Let's go. Wait a minute. I want to know if you're the new self-appointed leader.
Oh my God!
Wait a minute. Oh, beautiful.
There you go. If somebody tries to shoot you, just lightly tap them and then be on your way. Oh well, maybe this means Mike can finally score with his wife. Just look at this chemistry.
You know, Agent Piranha, twice as big as the South American kind.
How do you know that?
In the war, I saw a Viet Cong fed to him.
Some people say I committed a war crime, but I had a good lawyer.
Lloyd is a really nice man. He just drinks too much and gets a little confused sometimes.
I'll say he's confused. He thinks it'll strengthen your marriage if he sleeps with every prostitute in Asia. Well, we're an hour in. Are we ever going to see those disgraced martial artists the brochure was talking about?
This must be the place where they bury the goddamn kung fu fighters.
Don't tell anyone, but it's also where Jimmy Hoff is buried. Shh. And surprise, bitches! That would have been really effective if he shot it anywhere near them. Instead of the A-team, I think these guys are the Z-team.
Saw Clint Eastwood do this in a movie once.
You mean act? We get some more kung fu fighting, but so far there hasn't been any cannibalism. I'm beginning to think the alternate title of this movie is false advertising. And it turns out bringing a knife to a sword fight is actually a good idea. Martial arts skills are really effective when your enemies don't know how to use their weapons.
I know you.
Of course you know him! It's the creep you saw in the brothel earlier. How could you forget him? He's even wearing the same clothes. Oh well, at least you got their guns.
He's the guy I saw at that cat house. He took a look at the brochure and he warned us not to come here.
It still doesn't answer the question why he doesn't want us here.
Or why this place has a brochure. Okay, I know I keep harping on that, but seriously, why does this place have a travel brochure? Maybe the monks can give him an answer.
Who the hell are you guys?
Follow me.
What do you think?
Like the man said, let's follow him.
Yeah, if someone who looks like this asks you to follow them, don't do it! The group has a meeting with the monks, but it looks like Ghost Stash is secretly eavesdropping.
If you want help, you must earn it.
What do you want us to do?
Fight our champions.
If you defeat them, we will help you.
You know, you have guns and they don't. You could just tell them to piss off. Or just do what they say and stay for dinner. I wonder what's on the menu here.
Rise from your graves and lock weapons and battle with the evil
Okay, so now we've got cannibals, but I don't know if these guys know Kung Fu. This movie should have been called Kung Fu and Cannibals. Or at least Kung Fu Zombies, that would be more accurate. I gotta hand it to these monks, at least they make sure the girls are well marinated before they eat them. And apparently this somehow lets them raise the dead.
Rise and come forward from your sacred graves.
I'm really tempted to play Michael Jackson's Thriller over this part, but the video might get flagged if I did that, so I probably shouldn't. As the rejected Mortal Kombat characters make their way to our heroes, they rescue the girl who was kidnapped earlier, although I don't know what took them so long to realize that these guys are up to no good. Looks like it's time for that test of fighting skills they were talking about earlier. I think I know why these martial artists were disgraced. They're not very good, but they do get one good shot in. Oh no, not Lloyd! He had so many more prostitutes to sleep with! I would say this is like the weirdest Bruceploitation movie ever, but let's face it, it's not. Well, I think you've proved your fighting skills against these clowns. Best get the hell out of there. And again, Cameron Mitchell has the right idea here. Prepare to meet Kali in hell. They seem to have gotten away, but oh shit, speedwalking is one of their zombie powers. Looks like Lloyd finally bit the dust. Either that or they just decided to leave his ass behind. While Commandant Comb-Over is busy stealing the monk's jade, the group spots his plane and decides to use it to get off the island. And they are going to be writing a very negative review on Warriors Island's website when they get back.
Who the hell is that?
It's the people you were shooting at earlier. How the hell does no one recognize anybody in this movie? Not only that, but they're terrible at noticing things right behind them. I don't know what they're so afraid of. They easily kicked the zombies' asses earlier. Just do it again. Man, this is like if the director of Miami Connection made an Indiana Jones movie. And now that I say that, I'd actually kind of like to see that happen. Ah well, until then I guess I'll just do this. Okay, while you are fighting, I am going to sneak aboard the plane, yeah? Before we get to that, though, this.
Decapitation!
I knew that was gonna come up in this movie somewhere. Mike goes to stop Spear from taking off in the plane, and even though he's able to beat up a horde of undead ninjas, he somehow gets his ass kicked by a doughy middle-aged Nazi. Oh, and remember how they talked about piranhas earlier?
Asian piranha, twice as big as the South American kind.
Well, I think that's because they used stock footage from the movie Piranha in this movie. I'm being eaten by a better movie! They finally decide to get the hell off the island, but not before leaving the zombies with a final parting gift.
Take this!
Oh, come on, you call that an explosion? Here, I'll fix it. So anyway, our heroes finally escape in the plane, and Cameron Mitchell realizes that the movie's almost over and he can finally collect his paycheck. Yeah, I don't think so. This movie's about as to be continued as Buckaroo Banzai. Raw Force may not exactly have cannibals who also know Kung Fu, but it does have pretty much everything else an 80s exploitation movie needs. Gratuitous nudity, gratuitous violence, gratuitous mustaches. There's not quite as much martial arts action as the title would lead you to believe, and the movie drags a little bit in the middle, but for those looking for some so bad it's good exploitation cheese, it mostly delivers the goods. And the best part, there isn't a single annoying kid in the whole thing. And after going through all the Gamera movies, I am grateful for every movie I do on this show that doesn't have those. Well, that's all for now. Until next time. Oh, and also I'm going back on tour. Just go to this website for the dates. See ya!
That's really sick.
I don't know, I kind of liked it myself.